Hey, what's up guys? Rob here. Welcome back to another top 10 video. Like I always say, I hope you guys have been enjoying these videos where I talk about a certain action star and show you my collection, pertaining to that certain action star. I've done my Stallone collection, Schwarzenegger, all that. So, wanted to show you guys my top 10 Harrison Ford films. This list was not really hard at all because there are a lot of great series when it comes to Harrison Ford. Indiana Jones being one, and of course Star Wars and stuff. It wasn't really hard to come up with this. And I don't like a lot of Harrison Ford's films. He's kind of hit or miss for me when it comes to which ones I would put in my top 10. But there are some that I don't have on this list, like Clear and Present Danger, which I do like. Patriot Games. There's some that I really like but didn't make the top 10. So just my opinion. I hope you enjoyed the video. We're gonna start here with number 10, an Ivan Reitman film, and it's non-stop action, basically about they're on this plane and it's forced down in a storm, and once they're on this island, like, there's people there that are after them and stuff, and it stars Harrison Ford and Anne Heche. 6 days, 7 nights. There's some comedy thrown in there. I really think this movie's a lot of fun. Pretty much anything Ivan Reitman does is really good. But yeah, this movie actually surprised me when it first came out. You know what other movie this reminds me of is, I believe it's, what is that called? Night and Day or something like that? With what's that movie with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz? I can't remember the name of that movie. It kind of just, it reminds me of this type of film. But 6 days, 7 nights comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 is a fantastic thriller. This is another one that blew me away, especially when the third act rolls around. Something happens to where I'm just like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. What Lies Beneath with Michelle Pfeiffer. Robert Zemeckis' film, basically, this is like a haunted house movie, and you get to see, like, Michelle Pfeiffer's in the house, and like there's this like young girl that appears to her like in the bathtub water, and like things start going on and off, and there's these crazy neighbors. I believe James Remar is in this too. Alan Silvestri, the music's got some creepy music. But the third act of the film really surprised me. There's a creepy scene with that dead girl in the water. Like, she's under the water, and like... and then there's that famous scene that they made fun of in Scary Movie... Was it Scary Movie 1 or 2? Where, Michelle Pfeiffer is on the table on top of Harrison Ford, and she's like, I think she suspects something. And he's like, who? And she leans over, and she's like... your wife. And when she says your wife, it's a different girl. It's not Michelle Pfeiffer. That was another creepy scene. Really creepy film. So that comes in at number 9. Coming in at number 8. This has a really big cast. William H. Macy. You have Wendy Crewson, Gary Oldman, and it was directed by Wolfgang Peterson. And it is Air Force One. Basically, the Russian nationalists or whatever hijack Air Force One, and Harrison Ford is the president, and he has to basically take these guys down one by one. Really entertaining film. One of the best action films that Harrison Ford has done. It's fast-paced, too. That's what I like about it. So... that is number 8. Now, this was kind of controversial because I couldn't decide which one I wanted to put. Star Wars. Of course, this is New Hope. And when it comes to the Star Wars series, of course, Harrison Ford is in all 3 of the originals, and then he's in The Force Awakens. And I was trying to think of which movie I enjoyed his performance more, and though his performance was great in Empire, I just like his performance in New Hope better. It's when they first meet. There's the cantina bar scene. There's the whole thing where they go on the Death Star undercover as stormtroopers, where he acts like a stormtrooper. I love it. I love that whole scene. And then, of course, the end, the third act. I love this movie, and I love Harrison Ford in this one the best as Han Solo. It's just my opinion, but that's not saying much because I like the original 3 movies anyway. I love, if I could just say, hey, the original 3 movies are my favorite Harrison Ford movies that come in at number 7. I mean, I could just say that. But if I had to pick one, just one, I'd pick New Hope. So, I guess you can categorize it any way you want. Coming in at number 6 is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I'm a sucker for Indiana Jones. Got Raiders right here. This was a fine end to the trilogy, but then you can't say that anymore because they made Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is nothing like the original 3 Indiana Jones films. That's why it's not even in my top 10. I cannot stand that movie, okay? But Last Crusade, with the Nazis and with Sean Connery, his father's in this, and then there's the whole chasing after the Holy Grail. Really, really cool. I love this movie. Great music and just great characters. So that comes in at number 6. Coming in at number 5 is Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I know a lot of people would probably put this movie higher on their lists, but this is not my favorite Indiana Jones film. But this made it to number 5 as my my 5th favorite Harrison Ford film of all time. Raiders has some classic moments and some memorable stuff. So number 4, Blade Runner 2049. Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford, basically takes place 30 years after the first movie, where he is a new Blade Runner LAPD officer, and he meets up with Harrison Ford. You got Jared Leto is basically the villain, but he meets up with Harrison Ford, and they pretty much work together. Visually, this movie is fantastic, and Harrison Ford, I mean, he has not changed his role at all, his character. Rick Deckard basically ends up, well, he's still being hunted in a way, but, when Ryan Gosling finds him, they have like this little fight in this area, which is pretty cool, but then they end up like, working together. And Harrison Ford, to be honest, I liked Harrison Ford in this a lot more than I liked him in The Force Awakens. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love seeing him as Han, okay? He is Han Solo. But I loved seeing him in this more. I just loved his presence in it. So, Blade Runner 2049 is number 4. Coming in at number 1 needs no introduction, and I don't really need to talk about this movie because what hasn't already been said about this? Blade Runner. The Final Cut, Ridley Scott film, Sean Young, Rutger Hauer, visually stunning, epic scenes. One of Harrison Ford's best. That's all you need to know. That's it. Number 3 favorite. Coming in at number 2, The Fugitive. What hasn't already been said about this movie? Harrison Ford on the Run. Directed by Andrew Davis. Stella Ward, Tommy Lee Jones. Fantastic film. And here we get to my number 1 favorite Harrison Ford movie of all time. Out of every single thing he's done, this is my favorite Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Not only is this my favorite Harrison Ford film, but it is my favorite Indiana Jones film. So there's, you know, two birds with one stone there. But I just love everything about this movie. I love the theme. I love the characters. You know, I thought Kate Capshaw was one of the best, the female, I want to say like the one of the women, the best women in Indy's life. As far as characters, you got Short Round Ki Kwan from Goonies, who played Data. I loved his character. I love the darkness of this movie and the grittiness, and you know, it's gory. It's gory too. I love the bug scene and the scene where they're sitting at the dinner table and he's like, "Oh, snake, a surprise!" And they cut open the snake and there's all these little snakes and this guy's sitting there eating. And then they bring out spiders and he's like, "What's the matter? You're not eating? I had bugs for lunch." And he's like, "Give me your hat." "Why?" "Because I'm gonna puke in it." Then they bring out monkey heads and he's like, "Chilled a monkey brain." And they open the top of the head and he has a spoon. He's like scooping out the brains and eating them. That scene, man, oh my God. Just everything. This movie's fantastic. I love it. I love this movie. They came from palace and took Sivalinga from our village. No, no, no. The palace has the power of the dark light. It was that place. Kill my people. You will go to palace. Bring back the stone. It was Shiva who made you fall from sky. Yeah, this movie's great. One of my favorites. I remember watching this at a very young age and always having to look away at the part where Motoram tears the heart out of that guy, lowers him into the pit, and he's still alive and his heart's burning in his hand. Scarred me. And even when they're walking in the you know, in the cave part where there's all these bugs, that's not CGI. That's not CGI stuff like they use in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull with the ants. Okay? Those were actual bugs they used. Okay? Those were actually real bugs they used. When something's there on the screen, in reality, it's a bigger presence, in my opinion. Like there's something there to react to. Great movie. This comes in at my number 1. So there you go. Pretty simple list. You know, like I said, it wasn't that hard to come up with these because Star Wars and Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford's, you know, those are probably two of his most popular series. So I couldn't forget those. Anyway, guys, what would be your top 10 favorite Harrison Ford films? Let me know in the comments, or just list some of your favorite Harrison Ford films, or do a video response. I really like hearing that stuff, and I really do appreciate you guys watching. So stay tuned for more of these. I'm not really sure what the next one's going to be. Jean-Claude Van Damme, I mean, I do plan on doing a top 10 for that because I did a movie collection video, and I always state, like, after the movie collection, you know, that I'm going to do a top 10, and I'm planning on doing a couple more, you know, like Kevin Bacon and John Travolta and Tom Cruise, as well as maybe Bruce Willis. So there's quite a few more that I'm going to do, but I might take a little break and do some other things, and you know, do some more movie reviews and horror stuff. So we'll see what happens if I have time to do those. So anyway, hope you guys have been enjoying these. This is Rob signing off, and I'll see you guys in the next one.